Well, good morning everyone. Rod Cullerton, and as you can see today, what a magnificent day. I'm just going to go in and grab my coffee, simply because I just want to answer a few questions that it's just a lot easier. I'm being inundated with emails, but more importantly, there's been a notice put out by Landgate, which I certainly object to, and I'll tell you why I object to it. Because they're trying to now say that they're going to charge $134 just to search up your titles, and I can emphatically tell you, no problem whatsoever. I was charged $30, okay? $30 per title. I actually had 8 titles in the end, $30. But what I'm really impressed with is the action of the Australian people not sitting on their rights, exercising their rights, going down, getting their property rights, so that they are well prepared for any so-called proposed new act that purports to be, until shown otherwise, passed by our Parliament. Now, what they're trying to tell you is that it doesn't matter. Well, I tell you, it does matter, because the purpose I do these live streams, they could go either way, okay? And it's bringing the attention to the Australian people. Okay, so here we go. You heard for yourself, and I was told, and a lot of other farmers, that when I went to get my titles to my property, the Landgate informed me, or their staff, their agents, whoever they were at Landgate, that the banks had burnt and destroyed my titles. Now, that is that's a very serious statement. It's definitely misleading, as we've now seen. Definitely misleading statement. But more importantly, a bank cannot destroy your property. Now, people are asking me, what if I've got a mortgage over my... So what? It's got nothing to do with it. Now, people have got to understand this. You don't get a mortgage, okay? You give a mortgage. There's a difference. You don't get, you give. A mortgage is to promise to pay. So if a bank lends you money and registers that interest on your title, so there's a registered instrument to say that they advance XYZ so that you could, against your property. If you default under contract, yes, they have a claim, or to come and exercise their rights of the right to be paid because you broke your promise to pay that mortgage. It's as simple as that. The whole law simply states this, that if you sit on your rights and you don't exercise your rights, well then basically you have no rights, you acquiesce, so it doesn't matter. So if you're not bringing back the Crown, which as a federal senator, that was my constitutional duty, to uphold the Crown of the Westminster system. That's what creates the Parliament, the executive, legislature and judicature. They are your 3 levels. That's where it all comes from. You know, I think people are starting to think, where does people often say, a lot of people don't know where milk comes. They don't even know it comes from a cow. And that's not being disrespectful, but certainly more in politics. People don't understand the concept of politics. I didn't really understand it until I went in there and served my role as a federal senator, and certainly read up on all the books, and because I always like to do things properly. So if it was me, continue on going and getting your certificate of title. You will perhaps be told, now you can do it in any state, it doesn't matter, state or territory. There's no problem, because you are the bona fide proprietor of that property. That is your asset, that is your property. Those titles are your property until you take off the vest and put it into someone else, and then they claim. the certificate of title, so to speak. So that's where it is. So don't get confused. It's historical. Go right back, what they call nunc pro tunc, then for now, or now for then. It's a Latin term in law, nunc pro tunc, and that is the title, and that is what you need to tuck away. Whether your name's on it or not, it doesn't matter, because any instrument that may follow that, you then can question, well, how does that affect the rights of the title of the land that I'm in possession of, because possession's 9/10 of the law. So that's pretty much the basics of it. So this now turning around saying that, we're now going to a digital copy because, of the legislation against the Transfer of Land Act. And this is why you have to support the farmers and myself and others on the 15th of August of this month, within a fortnight, less than a fortnight now, is to make sure that any amendments to the Transfer of Land Act, certainly a Crown Act in Western Australia under the Westminster system, which is the authority of the people of having the property rights and freedoms of this great nation, has actually ticked all the boxes and can apply and pass the strict requirements in order to become law at the legislative level. And this is what I'm saying now. We've got to stop going to the courts, because the courts only set into a jurisdiction what comes out of the legislature. And it is the legislature, which is why we're going to Parliament, West Australian Parliament, at 12 noon on the 15th of August, is to hold that legislature to account, because the legislature, because I've certainly been in that, well, not in state, but certainly federal, have strict requirements, and they can be seriously prosecuted if they so-called don't follow the law, or intentionally misrepresent, or innocently. There's no excuse, because everyone has an obligation and duties at that level to make sure that the laws are passed in compliance to the laws of Western Australia and the Commonwealth. There is no deviation. Okay, so Landgate, as I understand it, have had a shot over their bow. They have been seriously under siege. But, they have been telling people that had been going there prior that they couldn't give them what they're getting now. So that was a misleading statement. So I ask that you be the arbiter, okay? I do these live streams. They could go either way. You be the judge, okay? I'm giving you the facts. There it is. You judge it. Now all of a sudden they're coming out with serious notices trying to say, it's going to cost you $134. Doesn't matter if you come down here and get a certificate of title. It doesn't prove any ownership. That's absolute nonsense. If you feel that you want to go and get your bona fide copy of your certificate of title, go in and get it. It's the best investment you'll ever have. So it doesn't matter if your name is not on it. It doesn't matter if you have a mortgage over the property. And as far as I'm aware, it doesn't really matter what state or territory in. Everyone has their assets, which is their title, their property, registered at some form of registry in relation to the Transfer of Land Act or the land under the Crown. So it must be under the Crown of the Westminster system, because that's, we have Crown land, everything, and it's good. Everyone's exercising their rights again to come in and obtain a copy of your property, and that is your title and your land. Now, even if it has been subdivided or future events have happened, it would have had a farming land. It would go right back to grassroots. So go and get it right at the time. Nunc pro tunc, then for now, or now for then. So God bless and see you. Well done. I'm very proud to everyone. I hope that helps you, because a lot of people sending me emails, but as you understand, I've got to deal with members first.
Hello, Lindsay from Freedom Media WA, and as you can probably see, out in the sun, out and about in the street. But I'm just going to just bring you an image and show you where I am and what's going on here. And this sign here should do that for you. So down at the Landgate office here in Midland, Perth, Western Australia, and having a look, many would have seen the live streams the other day from former Senator Rod Culleton, and people coming down looking to get their original titles of certificate. So to show you the scenes down here at the moment, you can see there is an extensive line, an extensive wait for people looking to go in and apply for their original titles. Thank you. Just saying good day to a few people. So just showing, this is the scenes down here at Landgate in Midland, and you can see there is a good, decent, hefty line. Now I can tell you, I'm just going to flip back to this image just here. I can tell you that we have, we'll just bring up back Landgate here, and I'll just go back here. So you have the gatekeeper, there she is in that pink dress just right there. They are vetting people before they go in to show them or to ask them why are they here and what business are they wanting to conduct. That's number one. Number two is they have security here. Anybody pulls a mobile phone out and starts recording as I'm doing here, and they're getting very aggressive. She already threatened to turf me out of the building. So not only here am I here in the public interest to talk about this particular issue, but I'm also here as a citizen of Western Australia, as a property owner who also wants to go through the same process. Now I also was down here early this morning, very early this morning. It was very cold, and even then at 8 o'clock in the morning there was about 15 people here in the queue. The state of play right now is that if you line up to do what these people here are doing, they will not give you, even if you're prepared to wait, they will not give you the copy of the certificate of title, the original, or not the original copy because they will not disclose that, but the copy that has the unicorn and the lion on. You now need to fill in a form. It'll be 10 to 20 days. They will ring you back, and if you're wanting the historical search to produce that, they are quoting $134 an hour to do the historical record search to produce that document. And they will give you a call in 10 to 20 days to tell you what the estimated fee in order to retrieve that. Now, does it actually mean that you have your original title deed? No. Are they able to give you an idea of what the estimated cost of that is? No. Other than they will ring you back in that particular time frame, 10 to 20 days. They will give you a receipt, and that's pretty much the state of play in relation to that. So the other question that I'm asking here is, I did ask when I got up to the front of the line here, the people that are in the queue, are they telling them that it's likely to, it's actually, I've just got somebody holding a sign up in the background, but the camera's flipped around the other way. People that are in the queue here, are they at least telling people that they will not get an answer today? It's going to be 10 to 20 days wait, and also at a cost of $134 an hour. Now, I did ask, based on footage that many would have seen from former Senator Rod Culleton the other day down at Landgate, why people on Monday came in and were able to get that. The explanation that was given was that that was a farm holder that had a parcel of land within that was held intergenerationally, and it was a very easy search in order for them to do that. They said it simply was not possible on Monday and is not possible on today or any day going forward to be able to walk in and wait and get that copy as Rod Culleton showed on Monday. Now, this isn't so much trying to unpack what Rod showed. I've asked the question, did they make that clear on the day? Now, they said that they did, and I very much believe had they made that point clear to Rod, he would have made that and conveyed that in his live stream. So I think that the Landgate have come up with a strategy to say, to put people off doing this, to come down and do this, even though there is still some question about does it actually entitle or prove ownership. That's another question, but they're trying to deflect people now by saying if you have a property in the city, 10 to 20 days. I might say from the time that we got to the front door, and I spoke to this lady just here in the pink, who was quite aggressive, told us that they had employed a number of psychologists to come down because staff have received threats and so on and so forth. Now, nobody in any of these lines here, nobody has been violent, nobody's been aggressive, the people are just happy having a conversation, waiting in line, notwithstanding that they know that they're in for a long wait. So there certainly hasn't been, from what I've seen today, and I would suggest from what was seen the other day in former Senator Rod Culleton's stream, nobody's been aggressive to the staff here that we've seen. And yet we got the big stop story. They have an increased amount of security. As I said when I was in there, I said that I would be taking notes of, because I've gone through this process. I'm not saying anything that I wouldn't be prepared to do yourself, same as Rod. He wouldn't suggest that either. So I went in just to see what the process is and what would be said in relation to this. I did find it interesting that they say that going back to digital since 2000, that they have everything digitally, they can bring up the image, yet if you want to have a look at what it is that you would be paying $134 an hour for that digital record, that they can't bring it up on the screen to show you. That it then requires a person to physically go and look at that. Now that might be going back looking at different subdivisions and titles for the block. Sorry, I'm just looking at a couple of comments there. I can just see, I'm just going to pick up on one of them, and that is Terry. Hopefully the audio is good because I wasn't really down here to do a live stream, but I'm now just doing this just to show the amount of people down here. And also because they have people, including this gentleman just here in the suit, walking up and down telling that people cannot record any of this. So that's the reason for the live stream. But yeah, so coming back to that, so yes, if you want a non-historical copy of that, it will cost you, I think, $30.50 or something of that nature. But if you want a historical record and some sort of certification of that with the Crown and the Unicorn, they are now quoting $134 an hour to do that search. They will tell you that it will take 10 to 20 days, which I've said at the outset of this stream, to get back to you, where they will ring you with a quote as to what it will be, and then you can decide whether you will go ahead with that stream. Now, what I did want to say earlier when I was pointing out the lady at the front, the gatekeeper, who was telling us the sob story that they've got psychologists sitting inside here because their staff are being threatened and abused, that they said that over the last couple of days, and certainly since former Senator Rod Culleton's stream, they've had a number of people down here, that have been making these applications, is probably the words that I'm looking for just here. So yeah, making all of those applications, and I was told at the door that there was 286 people, or applications I should say, in front of my personal application, and there was a couple of other people that were we were just having talks to. I was talking to people in the line, And when we got to the counter, they've got about 3 people serving at the counter. When I got to the counter, they then told the lady that was standing next to me that they've got 400 applications in front. So of course, I wasn't met with a diplomatic response when I said, well, hang on a minute, I was just told there was 268, now you're telling me it's 400, which is it? So yeah, a lot going on down here. This is Landgate in Midland. I'll just walk past again. Old mate was walking up and down. He's wanting to pounce because I'm recording, but he's not quite sure what to do in relation to that. But just to show you, down here, Landgate Midland, there is an extensive line here. An extensive line showing you the scenes down here at Landgate Midland. One of the comments just coming in from Robert, can you explain what Landgate Primary does? I guess they manage the original. They do hold. One thing I will clarify, sorry, just to digress a little bit, one thing that I will just clarify here, that it was very, very clear that the original title deeds to properties are not being destroyed. In fairness, that needs to be said. They are not going to be destroyed. They are being held in a vault location, and they will always be held. Can you get a copy of that? Very clearly, no. Okay, but coming back to Robert's question, one of the things that people need to understand with Landgate, and those that have followed this platform and also have seen that I've had some chats with the Honourable Nick Goren, is the deal that Mark McGowan did with Landgate. Mark McGowan sold Landgate, I think it was somewhere around $17 million. It's a state public asset, sold Landgate for an exceptionally cheap price. I think the commercial valuation for that, now don't quote me on this, but it's there or thereabouts, about $35 million. And then the state government, Mark McGowan, on behalf of the Western Australian people, using the taxpayers' dollars, leased back Landgate back to the state government using taxpayer-funded money. And I'm sorry, excuse me, sir, sorry?
Are you recording?
Yes, I am. Say hello to the viewers of Freedom Media WA. So we are live streaming. There are people here that are watching the live stream. So, yeah. So, yes, but what? They may not be happy to record, but this is a public space. Now, coming back to what I was saying, you have the leaseback arrangement. Now, the leaseback arrangement over 15 years was around a contract worth $85 million of the West Australian taxpayer-funded money to administer this building here. So they sold an asset, $35 million for $17 million, and leased it back for $85 million over 15 years. So there is a lot to be said about the dealings of former Premier and State Daddy Mark McGowan in relation to Landgate. But thank you to those of the comments coming forward. I don't think old mate is looking to take it any further. He's not quite sure what to go. Maybe he's just radioed back to his security base to get reinforcements or backups. I'm not sure. Assess myself because I wanted to explore just to see what the outcome was in relation to this, and that's been my outcome. That people have also confirmed they've been told the same. When they come out, they're getting a receipt to say that it will be 10 to 20 days, and they'll be told an estimate of what it could be. And I must say, when I asked for that estimate, I was told that the estimate would be anywhere in the order of about 5 to 8 hours to do the search, that they then will bill out to you at $134 an hour. That's what they're saying today. That may have been different previously, but that's what they're saying today. And again, the question that I asked is, if everything is held digitally and they have a record that they can bring up digitally, like if you were buying a property and transacting, they would provide a digital copy of the title deed to the settlement agent. So, but they can't bring it up to show you in person, nor can they show you what it looks like as well, so that you know that if you're prepared to pay the money that you're actually getting what you want. And it seems to be here that most people are wanting to get the copy as it should be, with the original unicorn and lion crown. So I think that's probably enough from me. I didn't really want to, although I can see that there's a number of people, perhaps, I don't know, any comments? If there's a comment, I'll just stay on for a little bit longer and to see if there's any comments that I might be able to explore. Okay, so Ray is saying $30 or $130. Now, Ray, my understanding is this, is that if you go in there and you ask for a non-historical record, then that will be $30.50, but it will take time, 10 to 20 days in order for them to do that. If you want the historical record, which shows way more detail of the title deed, then that is $134. Also going to be $34, that's $134, sorry, I'll just clarify that, $134 an hour to do the search, and they will then go forward and in 10 to 20 days time call you back and tell you what the estimate is, and then ask you if you want to do that. Now, the other thing that they are saying here as well, and I'll just flip back to this camera here, the other thing that they are saying here as well is that if you don't want the historical record, that you don't need to come down here. Without giving too much details away here, so duplicate certificate of title. So if you have one of these, which has some holographic symbol on the bottom here, this title will no longer be valid as of Monday, because Mark McGowan's changed the legislation in relation to that. But if you wanted to transact on a property, this is what you produce as of today to prove ownership. As of Monday, take this out and rip it up, use it as toilet paper, blow your nose on it, because that's all it's good for. Frame it. And I would suggest the other title here, I'm just moving back because I'm trying to see what the Landgate staff are doing. They are congregating behind me here. They're certainly having a huddle. They're trying to work out what approach that they're going to do. It's quite interesting, but nonetheless, here we go. So a year and a half ago, the same as the Landgate transaction. So Mark McGowan sold the whole Landgate operation, upstate public funded and public purse funded asset, for $17 million, where it was valued at around the $35 million, and then they leased this building back for $85 million over 15 years. You know, he didn't disclose that a year and a half ago. But there we sounds like Mark. What else can you say? Yeah. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, I'll just flip back to this screen here. You can see, ladies, there's plenty of comments coming forward. Yeah, I guess thank you very much for your comments and just showing people, confirming exactly what I'm saying by those pieces of paper. That's what's happened. By all means, don't take this as a means to say don't come down here and do this, but I think if you do, then you are up for a bit of a wait, maybe an hour. How long would you say you would have waited?
About 2 hours.
About 2 hours?
For that we've been here, yeah.
Yep, to walk out with that piece of paper right there, to be told that it's 10 to 20 days, and you'll be told to quote $134 an hour.
We're in a line of 380 people, so they've got to go through.
Well, Jennifer, okay, so Jennifer, when I got here this morning, that lady there pointing her out at the front gate, she told me it was 268.
Yeah.
When myself and another person got to the front gate, and I can't quite, I don't want to cause her any stress and aggravation by going any closer, but just in In front of her is the counter.
Yeah.
They make you stand. They've taken the chairs away. You have to stand at the counter and do that.
Yeah, we have to be cold.
That's something else that I do want to say there. They're quite happy to come out here and give you the piece of paper, but they won't give you the pens. They don't like you making notes there of the conversation. They certainly don't like you recording. But I was told 268. Then at the time when I said, oh, you need to fill this in, and it's going to be, there's 400 people in front of you. So you, and Jennifer, you were just told
380.
380.
That's why now it's 20 days instead of 10 from
That was
yesterday.
in front of us, and we were here at what, 9:30.
Yeah.
And they open at 8:30, and she's saying 300 and.
Well, I was here at 8:30. I was here just after 8 o'clock, and there would have been 10 people, a dozen people, and we just waited happily in the line. Why are they banning gas? Well, you only have to look Dimitri's comments. What they're doing here in Western Australia for land titles is exactly what they're looking to do over in Sydney. As per that comment, what Dan Andrews did last week in implementing a gas ban for Victoria, there is a motions by one of the Greens here in Western Australia. Look it up on the WA Parliament site. 8th of August, you'll find a motion to introduce, I think there's 3 or 4 key points, and the first point is to look at ceasing gas connections to new homes that are built, and they're looking to implement that as of early next year. If that goes through, if that motion gets up, can they do that? Yes, because we know in Western Australia, Labor have the power to ram through legislation, and we know Mark McGowan and now Roger Cook, they have both been behind ramming legislation. We saw it with the Kill the Bill. We saw it with the Aboriginal Cultural Heritage Act, an act that is an absolute debacle, and they had an opportunity of 30,000 people, an online petition tabled in Parliament, and just to press pause for 6 months. But Tony Budi, the minister, went ahead. Roger Cook spoke about dog vomit, and that you need to get on the right side of history, and now look what's happening in relation to that. Are you happy?
Yeah, mate.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Your name?
Steve.
Steve?
Yeah.
So hopefully you can hear Steve. Steve's just come in, and I did see Steve in the line, so he's come out, and Steve, they're telling you, yep, they've given you the...
I got a copy of the files, but as you can see there, I don't know if you can see it or not.
I don't want to show any
okay.
personal details,
But it's,
but maybe just the record of
Yeah, but that's not the proper one, because that's under the fake Corporation of Australia.
So to get the original with your transfer, they're telling you 20 days.
Yeah.
Did they tell you $134 an hour, and they'll have to give you a quote?
They're going to give us a quote, yeah.
Yeah.
You have to agree to the price before that happens. So.
Okay, so you have to agree to the price, and before that happens.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
It's a bit of a joke, to be quite honest, where they can just print out one of those. But yeah, they've got. I don't really know, to be quite honest. It's it's a weird one.
You're still dumbfounded by the whole experience.
Yeah, I'm still dumbfounded that I'm still a corporation. That everything, my name on this document they just gave me is a corporation, but we're not supposed to be. We're supposed to be our living man name or living women name that's on there. That's where the Crown documents come in. So we know what's, we're standing properly. So.
And I guess, I mean, a lot of people perhaps may not understand that, and as a living man, and I'm not dismissing that issue. I'm just saying, if you set that aside, the fact that you can't go in and get the rightful title deed or a copy of your title deed. I mean, this is what I found interesting. When I asked them then, they told me everything's now held digitally, and I asked, in 20 days time, can you show me what it's going to look like? And the answer was no. But if it's held digitally and they can bring it up on, transfer it to a settlement agent, why can't they show me here in the office?
Exactly. That's the same question I asked, the same thing.
Okay. What did they tell you?
Well, they said because it's going to take so long, because they've got to search through all the old titles. They don't know how far back your property that you're on, how many titles it goes through, so how long it's going to search to find it properly, so then they can put your names on it.
So either they're only scanning one part of it, maybe the top part of the digital title, or it's a grab for money. I don't know. You know.
Yeah, that's what the lady inside didn't seem to realise, that she worked for a corporation that wasn't owned by the government.
Right.
She thinks she's paid by the government. I said it belongs to somebody else now.
Yeah, well, Landgate, we know, that Mark McGowan sold Landgate off, and I've already mentioned this on the stream. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah. An asset worth 35 million he sold for 17 and leased it back for 85 million over 15 years. That's your money.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's a joke. He really is. I think we're all glad he's gone. But we just got another parasite in his place.
So Annie, I just want to clarify your comment there when you're saying it's gone from $30 an hour to $130 an hour. No, I will clarify that.
They didn't actually give me an exact figure of what it was going to cost per hour. They'll find out that in 20 days.
Yeah. I can say from my experience when I went in this morning, it's $134 an hour. In fact, that's actually now on their website, and I only found that on their website as of yesterday, I might add. Now, I'm not saying that it wasn't there on Monday, but I am saying that I have made frequent visits to the Landgate website on this title issue and have been doing so for the past 2.5 years, and I hadn't seen that.
Yeah.
So make of that what you will. But if you don't want a historical record, then it's not going to be subjected to the charge. You can apply for a certified copy, and it's $30.50.
Yeah, that's the ones with the all caps names on it, which is the corporation name.
Yeah. And you're not here for that. You're here for
the proper crown titles.
Yeah. So that is the difference, Annie. Hopefully I've explained it right, and Steve has explained it right. There is a difference there, but either way, you still can't. Did you ask them what's happening to the original title? Where are they destroying those?
No, but there's a lady in there at the moment. She's going through. She's got a farm. And she's going through it at the moment. She took a loan out on a farm a couple of years back, and she gave the titles to the bank, the Westpac, and these are beautiful historical documents.
You saw them inside?
Yeah, well, she's the ones that
she's got them.
Yeah, but she's the ones she gave to the bank. They destroyed it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a beautiful,
the parchment.
Yeah. With all the crest and the seal and everything on it, and they destroyed it. And she's pretty irate at the moment. She's still sitting in there,
So, I mean, if you just think about that,
trying to get them replaced,
and that's one of the reasons why they're saying digital, because it's so hard to go through and get displaced. But all the banks, as my understanding is with a mortgage, they only have a right to lodge an interest, a caveat, or a principal, first mortgagee on a title.
They shouldn't be allowed to destroy anything.
Absolutely not. Happy crowd in your wake there, Steve. I'm just going to pan back around.
When I came, there wasn't this many people, but there was still up to here, and it's going to be an ongoing thing all day, I think.
Yeah. I was told earlier, the security staff were here. The security staff are here because people are being violently aggressive. Have you seen any of that?
No, I can understand them being upset, but no, not so far. But yeah, they reckon there's a psychologist went in there a little bit before, because people were getting upset, so they're obviously getting a tender, Amazing what happens when the government lies to you, isn't it?
It's amazing what happens when public service have to do some work. I guess they get a little bit tender about it. Great word, I love it. Thanks very much, Steve.
And if until people stand up and say, you're not going to do what you say, we're not going to do it, we're not going to follow it, you can shove it.
Can run on for a long time, run on for a long time, run on for a long time. Sooner or later, gotta cut you down. Sooner or later, gotta cut you down. Go tell that long-tongued liar. Go and tell that midnight rider. Tell the rambler, the gambler, the backbiter. Tell him that God's gonna cut him down. Tell him that God's gonna cut him down.